Okay, so as usual, I'm starting with my eyebrows already done, and I have my shadow base on, which is the Louise shadow base, and I also have a translucent powder just to set that. So I'm going to be working out of the James Charles and Morphe palette today, just for the neutral colors. I don't know if I've actually done a video with this one, but I love these colors. There's a lot of neutral colors in here, but there's a lot of like bright colors that obviously I don't dip into on a daily basis. And then for the shimmer, I'm going to use the Tati Volume 1 palette. I love the shimmers in here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and use those today. So the color I'm gonna use first is this one right here, and it's called Punch Me. So I'll take that with my Jaclyn Hill and Morphe JH30, which is a big fluffy brush, and just kind of work that as my transition color for everything else to blend into. And we'll just keep kind of building up that color until it gets to the intensity that I want it. I'm actually really glad I was able to do a New Year's Eve video, because I just was kind of thinking about it. I mean, gosh, this has just been such a crazy year, and I just wanted one last video for this crazy year. The next color I'm going to use is, we will use the color right here, and this is called 10% Off. I'm going to take that with a Sigma E35 brush, which is just a little bit smaller of a blending brush. Just kind of blend that in there. Go back and soften off the edges with that fluffier brush. Next, I'm going to take another Sigma brush. This is the E25. It's a little bit smaller than that one, and we're going to go in with the color called No Beans. It's a nice dark brown. These colors for the James Charles palette are so pigmented, like I don't even have to keep picking up color. It just like deposits it and just blends so nice. Like normally you have to kind of pick up color, kind of keep resetting. It's just like, this just like is so pigmented. I love them. Go back again, just blend out all your other shades. Now I do want to use a black because, you know, it's New Year's Eve. I don't usually use black unless I want like a dramatic look. So this one I do want to stand out. So I'm going to use the black in this one. It's such a deep black, and it's called Spooky. So we'll dip into that with the Sigma E45, which is a very like kind of small blending brush. So we just keep getting smaller and smaller with the brushes. I'm going very close to the lash line. It's actually going down onto the bottom, but that's fine because I'm going to have color down there as well, but I haven't put my concealer down yet just because of that. So I'm just making sure that this is nice and dark in that outer corner. And then take your color, the brush that you used from that last color, and just kind of blend that out right there. I'm just going back and forth blending everything out. So I do want the lid to really stand out, so I'm going to go ahead and cut that crease. I'm going to use my Pro Concealer from LA Girl. This is called Fairest. I'm just going to dip a little bit on there and look up. And then I'll go ahead and blend that out. I like to take my finger and just kind of dab where the concealer hits the actual shadow, just to soften it right there. We will blend it out with the color later, but just so it's not so harsh before we put the color on top. So looks kind of weird right now, but that's okay. We're gonna Trust the process. Now we're gonna go ahead and dip into that Tati Beauty. I think I'm gonna use 2 colors. I think I'm gonna use Aura and Peet in the glitter. So this is the Aura line and this is the Peet line. So I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna use that one and that one. So the lighter one I'll do on the inner part and then the other one I'll do on the outer part. So I'm gonna take my little brush that I always use for light glitters and I'm gonna dip into the Peet color, which is like that reddish kind of coppery color. And I'm gonna pat that right here. And that's gonna go right next to where the darker shades were already. I feel like if you put it on with your finger, it is a little bit more opaque. So I'm switching to my finger, patting that in. Okay, so it looks kind of funny because it's only half the eye, but now I'm gonna dip into that color that was next to it, which is a little bit more light, and I will go right next to it with the lighter color. Ooh, it's so pretty. Do I dare to wear this to work for New Year's Eve? I will probably get a lot of looks. Good or bad, I don't know. But hey, it's gonna be New Year's Eve, right? Actually I'm off on New Year's Eve. I work New Year's Day. People will know it's New Year's makeup, right? It's only my eyes that'll be showing, so. It looks crazy right now, but that's because look at all this discoloration in my skin. Once that's taken away, it'll look so much better. So, so let's go back and kind of blend that outside part right there. So where that shimmer started, let's go back with the color called 10% off and just kind of like stamp that right there so it gives a little bit more of a blend where that started. And do the same thing on the other side. And then we'll go back with a little bit more of no beans. Blend it out with the bigger brush again. And then let's put a little bit more spooky back. Let's just kind of get the face going here so we can even everything out. So normally I have my foundation done on the top, but I didn't today. So today I'm gonna go back with I always use this Exuviance little serum for my forehead. I just love this on my forehead because I've got the lines up there. I just feel it's a primer, but it just really helps to smooth out in there. And for the rest of my face, I do love that Coconut Skin Smoother Primer from Hello Fab. I'm gonna rub this on here. Got a lot of glitter up there, but that's okay, it's gonna get covered up. Maybe it'll shine through and give shimmer on my skin. I'm gonna use a little bit of my e.l.f. Putty Primer just on the cheek area right here where I have, and on my nose where I have open pores. That'll just kind of help to smooth out my pores right there. It's so weird because like I said in my last video, I really don't wear makeup anymore, so it's like really nice to just kind of use my products. I use all this stuff and I just want to do my skin sometimes when I'm getting ready for work, but I'm like, why am I going to do this? I'm not going to put this on. I'm just going to stick a mask on all day. Okay, so let me kind of go underneath my eyes really quick, but you guys know that I use the Becca, the under eye brightener, but I've already hit pan on that. So I went to Ulta to kind of replace that. And I saw this little set of 3. It came with the Becca primer that goes before. Then it had, of course, I needed the full size, but it had a little teeny one of these. But it also had a full size of the powder. So I was like, I really need the full thing, but I still have some of that. So I really wanted to try this and it was a good value. So I just went ahead and did this and I'm so glad I did. If you guys have a problem under your eyes, OMG, try this. Literally, you put a little bit on here, I just smooth it on my finger, tap it under here, and then you just kind of press it on, and then you can kind of like smooth like this, and it feels like silk. Like you can tell it's smoothing out underneath your eye. So it is so well worth the fact that I didn't get my full-size brightener, because I will buy a new one. But this was a way for me to try this and the powder. So I'm super excited that I tried this. So, oh, I love it. So I only have the little teeny one of that, but I will just go ahead and finish with this anyway, since I still have some in here. I'm gonna go ahead and take my Zoeva 142 Concealer Buffer. Just gonna put it right here in the inner corner where I need that brightness. For the actual concealer, I'm gonna use the e.l.f. Camo Concealer. This one is in Light Sand, but this is the hydrating one. So I'm gonna put this, it's a little bit more like, kind of more my skin tone, so this is more like the concealer. I like the other one to brighten, so I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of the darkness. And this one does dry really fast. That's why I went right in with the sponge to blend it out. But like literally, it's very opaque. It just reminds me a lot of Tarte Shape Tape. So just a lot less expensive, but I mean, I do have the Tarte Shape Tape, but I like to switch it out, and I really love the coverage of this one. So I decided I'm gonna use this. So now that I have that part, I wanna do my foundation before I do my brightening concealer, because that part I put down my nose. So I'm going to use the Stay Naked from Urban Decay. I love this one. I'm almost out of it actually. So I definitely, ooh, look at this. It's like literally empty. But that's literally all I need. You see that much? That's all I need for my face. So that's gonna just work for me fine. But now I need a new one. So I'm gonna take my Real Techniques buffing brush, and I basically just work it right into that. Usually I have my forehead, so I don't put as much, but since I have so much on my brush now that's for my whole face, I'll start around here, go around here, and then I'll put up here because I don't want too much on my forehead because I already have my brows done. So now that the foundation's all on, I can now go back and brighten up the center of my face with my brightening concealer. For that one, I'm gonna use the e.l.f. concealer as well, but this 16-hour Camo Concealer, which is a lot lighter. I use the color called Fair Warm, and this one is way brighter. So I put this on the inner corner, kind of down my nose, a little on the outside, on the forehead, down the center. That'll just warm up all the, that's just gonna brighten up all that color. I don't like to go straight with the sponge with this one. I like to use my little pointed foundation brush from Real Techniques and just kind of blend that all out. Look how much is on there. That's why I like use the brush, because it gets it all where it needs to be. It's a little crooked in here. That's okay. I'm going to go back with my contour color and straighten that out. But you see how drying it is? It's already starting to dry. So that's when you need to go really quickly with your sponge and blend it out. So now that we've got the concealer all blended out, we need to go in with our contour. Contour, I'm actually gonna use this really cheap contour stick from Wet n Wild, but it's awesome, and it is in the color called Oaks on You. And I will use this to contour my cheeks and my forehead, my chin, and my nose. For this, I'm gonna use my MAC 130 brush to blend that out. So today's look, you can tell I'm using some affordable makeup, also mixed with some high-end makeup. You don't always have to use expensive stuff to get the same effect. So I'm gonna blend that out now with this. For blending out my nose, I have my JD Weighty 180 brush from Luxie. Just kind of get that softened right there. I do have a lot of shimmers underneath on my cheeks from the shadow. I could have easily just cleaned it off with like a wipe since I didn't have any makeup down here, but I don't hate it. It's like little shimmers on my skin, but if you don't like that, then just clean it off before. Next thing I'm gonna do is go with my Charlotte Tilbury powder and set underneath my eye. Now that that's set right there, I'm gonna go ahead and go with some translucent powder some loose powder because I do want to bake right there since I'm gonna go underneath with some shadow that might fall and I don't want it to get all over my foundation and everything. I haven't used this one for a while, so I'm gonna go ahead and go with my Patrick Star loose powder from MAC. I really like this one. I have so many. I reach for whatever, but I just kind of saw this and I was like, hey, I haven't used this for a while. So let's use this one. Just go right underneath. Just kind of set underneath there. Okay. Realized I didn't even end up using the little Becca powder. It's the little setting powder. I was gonna use this to set my concealer. I just always grab for my Charlotte Tilbury one, but I have tried this and it's nice. It's really smooth, so I'm definitely glad that I got that and I will reach for that more. But I just mentioned it earlier and then I forgot to use it. This time I am gonna remember because I want my under eyes to be really bright. I'm gonna go with my Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion and just put this right underneath my eye. You really have to take a lot off because you can just kind of go right underneath your eye. And I like to go with like a little buffing brush just to kind of soften it so it's not like chunky or anything like that. It's smooth. So I'm just gonna smooth that out really quick. And then we'll go right back with the Morphe palette, with the James Charles Morphe palette. And I'm gonna take my little Vasanti brush and I'll go back into that color called 10% Off. And I will go right under my eye. Just kind of buff that out. I'm gonna go with a little bit smaller of a brush. I'm gonna use this Morphe M506, and I'm gonna dip into that very first color that we used. It was called Punch Me. It was the one that we used, that transition color, and I'm just gonna softly, just kind of soften the edge right there on the bottom of that, just to kind of diffuse that line just a little bit. That kind of blows the color down just a little bit lower. Then I'm gonna take a Morphe M508, it's like a little smudger brush, and I'm gonna dip into the No Beans, which is that darker brown color, and we're just gonna kind of go right closer to the lash line. Basically, we're using all the colors we used up there, but it's in the reverse. It's going lighter to darker up that way. This one went lighter to darker down that way. And make sure to connect it out here. And see how it's like a little gap? Go back just with a little brush and just kind of circle it in there so it does connect, so it's not connected in the outside. And then you can use that same exact little smudger brush and dip into the black. And this one is gonna literally go right next to the lash line. You can go back with your little smaller brushes and just kind of soften everything. I'm gonna put a little eyeliner in my waterline. I'm gonna use my Inglot pencil in number 1 to just do the waterline here. And I don't always do it on camera, but I am gonna, because I want my lashes to stand out, I'm gonna go ahead and do the tight line up here as well, just a little bit. I know it looks creepy, that's why I don't usually do it, but because I have that glitter there, I want my lash line to really be dark. So we did that. Now I'm just gonna do a little liquid on the top, but nothing like a wing because we already have a lot of color. So I'm gonna take my Charlotte Tilbury Feline Flick, just do a little liner. I'm gonna have to leave the camera because I gotta go closer to see. I didn't do like a really thick line or a really big wing because we already have so much going on here. Let me do my bronzer really quick. For bronzer, I'm gonna do the Marc Jacobs in the Tantastic Big Mama bronzer. I'm gonna use it with my Morphe Jaclyn Hill brush and just kind of warm up my skin. I'll take the same bronzer and use my Dose of Colors little brush just to kind of go down my nose. Or I already still have that, like, I still have my powder on my nose, so haven't dusted that away yet, so I can do this really quick. For blush, I'm gonna use one of my favorites, which is from Charlotte Tilbury, Cheek to Chic. It is in the color Love is the Drug. And we're gonna go ahead and just place that in here. Now I'm gonna dust off all this powder that I have going on. I'm gonna use my MAC 165 just to kind of dust all that away. I haven't used this in a long time, but I'm gonna use my little Varsali. It's the little jelly beam in the color Glow Up. It's like that little jelly. And I'm just gonna put, just cause you know it's New Year's, you want a lot of shimmer and shine, so I'm gonna put a little bit here. Just on the very top of my cheek. And then for highlight, I'm going to take the MAC, like the most popular MAC highlighter ever is Soft and Gentle. Remember this one? Remember this old school piece? I'm gonna take my Morphe R36 and put that right over where I just put that. Really gives a nice glow. I'm gonna go ahead and put my Morphe and Jeffree Star setting spray. I'm gonna go off camera and put my lashes on and do my lips, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, so I'm back with the finished look. I just added my lashes. The lashes that I used are Flutter lashes in the style Intoxicating, but in the double lift. You guys have heard me talk about Flutter lashes in Intoxicating, which I love. It's one of my favorite lashes. However, this one's called double lift, so it's a little bit more volume to it. So I thought it would be perfect for this look. The lip combination, I did the KKW Nude 2 liner, which is a little darker, but I added it with my all-time favorite MAC lipstick, which is called Angel, definitely an old school color, and the MAC Baby Sparks Dazzle Glass. So, oh, and I also put a little bit of the Anastasia Beverly Hills Eye Primer in the corner with a little bit of that same Aura glitter, which is the one that I had closer to the inner part of my eyes, kind of wrapped it around. So this is my New Year's Eve look. I can't say I'm going anywhere for New Year's Eve, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people aren't. But if you are, gonna have a house party or something, just be safe. Can't say that at midnight the ball's gonna drop and everything is gonna go back to normal, but I can just hope and pray that things get better. You know, we've got a vaccine coming out now, so things are looking up, right? So I just, actually tomorrow's Christmas Eve, so Christmas isn't here yet, so have a Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year. I hope 2021 brings everybody health, happiness, and I just can't wait to end this year. Happy New Year, and I'll see you in my next video.